Right, legends, just a quick snippet video giving my thoughts on Bitcoin. So, bigger picture, I mean, not bigger picture, let's just go medium term. Medium term picture, we're still in a range, okay? Sometimes you just get too emotional when it gets to moving, but we're still range bound, okay? So, it doesn't necessarily have to come towards here. This area has been traded towards. So, I would consider this as a key level and this as my range low. Possibility of something like this, and then if it deviates, reclaims back to range high. So ping pong within this, oopsie daisy, ping pong within this range. Okay, now I'm going to give you a bit more context as to, I think it could push up until proven otherwise. The same reasons, if you remember, when I went long here around this region, okay, and pushed up, first target there, then stop run, didn't quite get the last portion, but we've been shorting it from this way down. So if I zoom out now, let's build the context, how I look at it. So where we're at is, where was the initial range high? The initial range high was actually here for me, there. That was my initial range high. And then that was the all-time high. So within that, so that would say that was the first high. If you look at it back in the day, I would have drawn that as my SR level. You would have called that all-time high. And then we had a deviation there, here. So that was the high first, then the deviation, and then the deviation again, resistance there. Now, if I move across now, you can see that this is more of a zone. So this was a deviation for shorting when it got back below. And if I go forward now, this was a same area, consolidation, broke below, and then immediately got back above it. That could have been along just towards here. Once it broke out of this, it rallied up. Now, I'm just setting the context here as to why. For me, the context is more important than the pattern. The pattern is, any monkey can draw a trend line or a level. It doesn't make a difference. So here, you can see, same play. Once it got back above, it bounced. Once it got back with small bounces, but it's consolidating. Now, for me, for a trend lower, okay, clean trend lower would be, in my opinion, what's capping a break below what's capping the downside now. And what's capping the downside now is this level here, the extreme end. So at this point, when I said I want to go long, well, we've got a clear invalidation for longs. So this is going to be a deviation. That's still capping it. It was swing failing at the time. And it wasn't really breaking. Confirmation would have been here. Aggressive would have been here. Probably cut it below here. That's in the video I did months back. You can still find it somewhere on Twitter. I don't know where it is. I pushed up just towards range high. Now, where is it retesting now? Previous all-time high now. I discussed this area here is probably a deviation area for it now. Or it could be a higher low. It doesn't matter. If it's a range band, I don't really pay too much attention. So if I do this, mark this out, okay? The context was different on the way down because it was making new lows, but now it's retested that. This is the minimal for me to actually go long, okay? Now there's different ways. I mean, one scenario could be, I don't really personally like these clean highs here. I think these can get taken, and I still think we're still range bound. Despite the shit posting on Twitter, I still think we're still range bound. Clean break and hold below here, then I would say the next downtrend. And that would be a break out of the range and a break back below. So if that was the case, then okay, let's mark out a logical area. This would be a logical area in my opinion. Actually, let's mark it out here. This region here. Easier, sometimes easier with the zone. Okay, that would be it. Okay, clean break below here. And hold, then that would be there. It's previous SR, support, resistance, resistance, resistance. But till then, unless this breaks, yes, you can play shorts, but it's limited towards here, and then hence why I got out around this region. And then, based on invalidation, opportunity for a small long. I took F and stuff. You've seen post. I'm not too confident just yet, but it is where it is. So. What would increase the odds of this trade here? I personally think, I mean, if we can start stabilizing around here, and next week, if ES pushes up, even just towards range highs, I don't need a massive rally. Crypto does its own thing then. It just doesn't matter. This could easily, if it's going to be a stop, it could easily do something like this, take out those highs, and if it's going to drop, no reason why. It can't just go back towards here. So that would just be a range-bound environment, okay? Nothing's really changed. So the two scenarios for our longs, if I'm going to look at it as a range, one would be, okay, here, this is a conservative one, and the reclaim, and there's a long towards here, cutting the clean break where the swing low is, claim validation placed. What if that does not happen? What if it goes up from here? Because you never know if it's going to deviate completely, and it's got a minimum level for it to go up. The next conservative plan would be if I was to long it here. Okay, where am I wrong? So if I look at it from this perspective, I'll clean this up for a bit. Where is the range short term within this price action here? So I'm talking about this price action here. And if I look, I would say something like this. That's range low, short term. And the initial high made, I mean, I could consider this then as my range high. Okay, because technically that is the range. That was the low. It made the high there, deviation, go back below, push down towards where? Mid-range. So let's just call this mid-range. Mark in a blue color. Okay, there. There's a couple of ways, in my opinion, of playing this. So we can see possibly a deviation here. If that's a deviation, I could probably take a small long without confirmation. But I don't know, bung my stop loss there, because if it starts breaking below this low, then that's no longer a deviation then, is it? It's starting to break down. So structure starts breaking down. I could play the shorts towards my objectives towards there. And that would then be a break below previous all-time high. And there, towards that region as target one, possibly even take out that, but that would be the main target. After that, I don't know. We'll have to see. Maybe the top of this consolidation. It doesn't really fucking matter. We got a little objective there, these lows here, objective there. But this region for me does not have to be filled, because to the left it's already been traded towards, the way I look at the market. Now, continuing on, if I was to remove this, the conservative, so that's one scenario, okay? The other scenario is a bit of a confirmation. So one is, if I take that small long there, I'm going to clear this cutting below there. The other play is, I'm going to have to zoom in now, okay? Should have done that earlier. Would be, what's capping this upside? I was capping this upside, I would say, is around this area here. So we've already identified that that's range low, and that's range high, okay? So we've got these scenarios to play. We've got nice stops resting here. This is for a possible long scenario. So the short scenario is easy now from here, where if it fails the long, or I could just wait for the short trigger to come to me before taking. But what if it goes up without me? So in that case, one option is I just do smaller risk, and then if it confirms, I'll go in with the bigger play. So that here, once it cleared this region, that's the next leg up towards range high area. We call this range high as well. That was support area there. So if I was to take a small here and then I could reload, if it reclaims and holds, that then becomes a deviation. And that will be my lovely stops resting here as target one. Still playing it level to level. I don't care about the fundamentals or trend. All I'm doing is playing the price within a range. Target one, target two. That's the confirmation plan, so I can just chill, wait, let the market do its thing. Target two. And target three. Now, I think everybody's really bearish. If it is going to happen, okay, I think it'll be very fast and aggressive to the upside, if that's the case. And then maybe, does it do this? Does it continue? I don't know. I don't give a fuck either. Okay. Now, I'm going to go look for complements for this. Is there other pairs doing this? Let's look at F. If I was to look at F is a mess here. Ignore it. Previous all-time high as well. Same as Bitcoin. Okay. It's just a key level there. Yes, forget all this price. It's just a key level for me. Now let's zoom in. I'm in this long anyway. My stops are break even. But if we look, okay, it's come minimum towards that region here, isn't it? So this can be considered similar with this. I got a feeling, it's not as clean as Bitcoin for me, price action wise, in the sense where I can run the range levels in that sense. But we've got that region here. Okay, that's the minimum. But if I look, if I was to mark this out, if I zoom in, that already has been retested here. So the bare minimum has happened. So if you look at previously, it doesn't have to have a perfect retest. And often you'll find the reason for that is, we got that there. With this region here, some exchanges do it. It's this consolidation here. Okay, that's enough for me there. Now, aggressive would be there. And then obviously, if it gets below here, that's where I get my violation, break below here. Then that would be a breakdown. That would become a deviation. Then I'll be looking for shorts. And that would be the second half of my range. Okay, so that level here is also around January's mid-range. So that would be my shorting opportunity, target one, target two. But that is still key support area here. Now for confirmation on this, keeping in mind that we're just retesting, so if I was to look at this as that is range low taken, well, just go with this for now as range low, as range high taken. We're more or less around about the midpoint, aren't we? Around this region here, it doesn't have to be perfect. So I'm just eyeballing it right now, not completely accurate levels. Now, how do I play this? So if I'm saying that's a possible support level for a bounce, then I can look at this, even if I don't trade this, as a confirmation for Bitcoin really. So intra-week, we've got, so I'll just say that's my short-term range high. One is, I mean, if I take the long and then I can cut it, that's what I've done. Mine I break even right now. But if it does, I mean, sometimes you can just start throwing in any trend line to fit the narrative. This is what we do. Chain goalposts as a joke, by the way. I mean, do it like this. This is the thing about trend lines, right? You can just fit it anyhow. So I'm going to fit it like this just to fit my narrative. But jokes aside, the confirmation for this would be if it was to reclaim and hold back above, then that's a deviation then, isn't it? And if Bitcoin is doing the same thing, then we'll confluence both. So I don't need to trade this. I can just look at this for confluence purposes and just move back into the range. Target 1, target 2. Okay? Keeping in mind, all the bad news that's been coming out over the past few months has all been still sustained within this leg here. So, you know, if you keep, you know, reality in check, this is just range bound. There's no reason why this can't still, in my opinion, rally up still more. I like these highs here personally. If I was to do that, and then Bitcoin does the run, and then this deviates, that would be something like this for me. Okay, however you want to look at it. Once that deviated back below, that was a short trigger for the next leg. If that was to do that, then I'll play it back towards range lows. There's no reason why we can't do that. Whatever the shit that's come out, has it made new lows? No, it's just been within here, hasn't it? The FTX shit, this shit, that shit, it's still within here. So it's not making new lows, really. Okay? So, gonna be fluid in my opinion. Let's see if there's a trend line to fit the narrative here. Yeah, it's found one there. See that there? Trend line to fit the narrative. I'm only joking, for fuck's sakes. So there's just a key support area. That's a deviation here. Once you go back below, sell off. So still support. If you want to just look at it that way, that's actually a retest. Coupled with the fact what I've said to you, we're at previous all-time high that reached that level there. Bitcoin do the same thing. So we'll see. I'm open to both longs and shorts. I know where I'm wrong on the long, so I'll get out or get trailed out, then flip short. Hope that made sense.